afternoon, lovely people of YouTube. Welcome back to Maverick Baking and welcome back to another naughty little junk food review. Today, we're not just tasting chocolate, we're not just tasting an individual snack, we're tasting cookie dough pots from a company I have been hearing about a lot all over social media. The product we are reviewing today comes from Gookie Dough. The lovely team at Gookie Dough gifted me 4 free samples of their fantastic looking little 150-gram cookie dough pots, and I cannot wait to taste them for you guys today and let you know whether they are going to be worth your money. Even the box itself excited me, to be honest. It's not often that brands will go out to the effort of, designing the whole packaging, even down to the tape that this came delivered in is all centered around lovely edible looking goodness. So I really appreciate the effort on that front. Let me show you what was inside the box though. Inside this gorgeous little box, we have 4 tubs of Gookie Dough's cookie dough. So the 4 flavors I have in my hands today range from wacky things such as red velvet and funfetti cake batter, or a kind of birthday cake flavor, to classics such as gooey chocolate chip and a triple chocolate fudge cookie dough. I love the packaging, I love the branding, I love the color difference. I'm super excited to get into these and see if they live up to the hype that I've been seeing on Instagram. But that is not all. The team at Gookie Dough have been kind enough to provide a cheeky little discount code for all of you lovely people, which I will flash up on screen right now so that you can order your own tubs to sit and eat with a spoon or bake in your own kitchen. They even come with instructions to bake them, which is pretty cool, to be honest. But enough chat, let's get tasting. I think it only makes sense to start with the classic. So we're going to start with this gooey chocolate chip flavor. Now you might be asking, is it actually safe to eat raw cookie dough? Gookie Dough do not include any raw egg or any egg of any kind in their recipe. The flour in the dough is also thoroughly heat treated to make sure that nothing in here is going to upset your tummy. And a lot of people don't even know that untreated flour can cause some problems, so I'm very glad to see that extra bit of care from these guys. Anyway, shall we open up and see what's inside? Inside this little 150-gram tub, you can see we have our cookie dough in there. Now the packaging does state to keep this refrigerated. I've had this out of the fridge for about 5 or 10 minutes just while I was setting up the things I needed to set up. So there isn't kind of too much in the way of chocolate. It's definitely more dough heavy than chocolate heavy. And there is a nice smell of kind of brown sugar and vanilla coming from the dough. Shall we give it a taste? Oh, hello. Hello. I'm going to be completely honest here. That's actually better than I expected. If you've ever tasted Ben & Jerry's cookie dough ice cream, or you've ever licked the bowl when someone was actually making cookies, they have absolutely nailed that. They have absolutely nailed that. You can taste some brown sugar in there, you can taste the vanilla, you get that lovely kind of hit from those dark chocolate pieces. And I'm glad to see they have used dark chocolate pieces because I think they kind of punctuate all the richness of the dough with that little bit of kind of bittersweet flavor. The texture is exactly like cookie dough. It's thick, it's dense, and it means that even if you were to snack on just a few spoonfuls of this, I think you would be very satisfied. It even nails it down to the point where you can even still detect a little bit of that granular texture from the sugar in there. You hear the crunch in your teeth, which admittedly won't appeal to everyone, but anyone who really likes that proper licking the spoon cookie dough experience when they're baking. But that, just going from the first pot, for what it is, for the packaging, for everything, that's a 5 out of 5 for me, to be honest. And I didn't expect to be saying that. So we have another kind of classic cookie flavor here. Flavor number 2 that we have here is Gookie Dough's triple chocolate fudge edible cookie dough. Okay then, so you can see that this one has not only a chocolate dough for those of us like myself who are more cocoa inclined, but also has dark and white chocolate pieces in there. Shall we see if it's as good as the original? Let's try and get a mouthful of everything. I like it, but honestly, it's not wowing me as much as the first flavor did. So while this does deliver a nice kind of chocolatey flavor, it's not giving me the same kind of definite cookie dough vibe as the first pot did. This kind of tastes more brownie-ish or just a kind of generic chocolate cake flavor. So it doesn't taste bad. Again, it's sweet, it's chocolatey. You do get little kind of kisses of that white chocolate and the dark chocolate. But if it's an actual cookie dough flavor you're going for rather than just a kind of more generic chocolate flavor, I do think the original is better than this one. But for what it is, I would probably give this one a 3 out of 5. Let's move on to the more exotic flavors. So we have here the red velvet cookie dough. Now this one is exciting. Hopefully it should blend kind of the best parts of the original and of the chocolate one, because red velvet cookie or red velvet cake, red velvet anything, along with the red food coloring, is typically kind of a blend of chocolate and vanilla flavoring. So in there you can see we have this gorgeous ruby red dough and some white chocolatey pieces. Let's see if the red velvet flavor is going to hold up against the others. This one is actually a lot more different than I expected. The kind of white chocolate pieces in there are actually white chocolate fudge, and it's definitely meant that this feels noticeably sweeter than the first two doughs. It still has that nice kind of granular sugar texture, that nice denseness and richness, and there is a touch of that cocoa flavor, which we were looking for, but it also doesn't just have the same vanilla brown sugar flavor as the original dough. I don't know if that's because they've added some white chocolate to the actual dough itself, but it tastes more kind of strong with vanilla, noticeably more sweeter. While I wouldn't say you would know it was red velvet just by taste, it's definitely distinguishable from the others, which I really, really like. If you like white chocolate, if you like vanilla, if you do like red velvet cake, as long as you're not looking for a more kind of chocolate heavy red velvet cake, this one is seriously good. And again, I love the packaging. I love that the color of the label is almost identical to the dough in the middle. I really can't wait to bake with this one. This one's a 4 out of 5 for me. So the final one, much like the red velvet flavor, is a bit more kind of USA inspired, with a Funfetti cake batter cookie dough. So this, I imagine, is taking inspiration from a kind of American birthday cake, the vanilla cake with all the sprinkles that you often see. So this one looks really, really cute. This one is potentially the most Instagrammable of them all, if that's something you're interested in, or something I imagine it would be very hard to keep young children away from. In a good way. Let me give you a close-up. So we have those little pieces of white chocolate in the kind of plain vanilla cookie dough, and you can see we have some rainbow sprinkles in there too. But shall we see if it's as good as the others? So the dough of this Funfetti cookie dough is pretty much identical to the first one, that kind of lovely brown sugar vanilla flavor. Lovely extra little crunch from the sprinkles in there though. Definitely sweeter, and the addition of that white chocolate really makes this feel like birthday cake or a kind of vanilla cake with super sweet icing. If you're not into sweet things, this is probably the last one you want to be looking into, but it's really good. This is proper lick the bowl stuff. It doesn't come with exactly the same balance as the original flavor because of the dark chocolate pieces. This one is definitely more kind of pure dessert, but I would definitely say this nails the brief. It looks adorable and it tastes good. This one is probably my second favorite of the ones I've tasted next to the first one, so I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. Genuinely speaking, all but one of these flavors has pretty much nailed it. If I was to recommend these to you, I would recommend getting this taster pack. I think it's the best way to find out what you'll like. It's the best way to have, you know, a really versatile little snack, whether you want to bake with it or whether you just want to eat it raw. It's seriously satisfying. I've had just a few tiny spoonfuls of each and I'm good, you know? I've had a nice, satisfying little sweet hit. As I mentioned at the start of the video, don't forget to use the little discount code that I will have up on screen, and I'll also drop in the description box below, along with a link to where you can buy cookie dough from. Now that we've tasted our cookie dough, I think it's only fair we try to bake them. Insert clips of me baking it and tasting it here. So that is going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it as always. Don't forget you can support the channel on Patreon. The link is always down below. And if you're new here, don't forget to give that subscribe button just a tiny one. I'll notice, I promise. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you for the next one.